Ladies and gentlemen, let us talk about the remarkable journey of a woman who refused to let her struggles define her limits. Picture this: a world closing in, a series of challenges so relentless that it would make anyone want to give up. But she didn't. Instead, she saw in her suffering not a sentence, but a call and opportunity to become something greater. Her first act of defiance against despair was simple yet profound. She acknowledged her circumstances without resentment. She did not say, "Why me?" she said. Now, what that shift in perspective was her declaration of war on chaos. It was her choice to stand upright amidst the storm, shoulders back, ready to act. Understand this: nobody comes to rescue you from your struggle. This woman didn't wait for rescue, she became the rescuer. Taking full accountability, she realized her pain was not an enemy to defeat, but a tool to wield. In the crucible of adversity, she forged discipline. Small actions taken day after day carved a path out of the dark. That path wasn't always clear, and there were moments of doubt, but she never stopped moving. And here's the remarkable thing: she didn't let bitterness poison her spirit. Life had wronged her perhaps deeply, but she refused to become a victim of cynicism. Instead, she used her struggle to cultivate wisdom, resilience, and courage. She learned to see the beauty in striving, the dignity in persistence. Through her journey, she didn't just transform herself, she became a lighthouse for others. Her story rippled outward, touching lives she may never meet, inspiring others to face their own struggles with renewed determination. Her success isn't just in what she achieved, it's in who she became, a testament to the human spirit's ability to rise. And that, my friends, is the essence of living meaningfully, turning suffering into strength, chaos into order, and darkness into light. Life often begins in chaos, a state of disorder that seems overwhelming, unfair, and insurmountable. For many, chaos is a source of despair, something to shrink from or avoid. But what if we thought of chaos differently? Imagine it not as an enemy, but as a landscape, one where possibility hides beneath the disorder. The woman who transformed her struggle into success began by confronting the chaotic realities of her life head on. She didn't avert her gaze or pretend the challenges weren't there. Instead, she chose to see chaos for what it truly is: a test, an invitation, and ultimately a starting point for meaningful action. Chaos doesn't wait for your permission to invade your life. It arrives unbidden in the form of hardship, loss, or unforeseen challenges. This woman's struggles weren't unique in their form, but they were uniquely hers. The world had dealt her a hand she didn't ask for, and like many, she could have succumbed to the temptation of blame or victimhood. But here is the crucial difference: she didn't. Rather than fixating on the unfairness of her situation, she asked herself a powerful question: what can I do now? That question marked the turning point. It wasn't the question of someone in despair, it was the question of someone ready to take responsibility. To recognize chaos is to face reality without flinching. It means acknowledging the pain, the disorder, and the uncertainty without being consumed by them. This is not an easy task. Many people avoid such recognition because it requires a brutal honesty that can feel unbearable. But for those who are willing, as she was, this recognition is transformative. By identifying the areas of chaos in her life, she began to see where her energy and focus were needed most. She saw what could not be controlled, but more importantly, she began to see what could. Responsibility is the antidote to chaos, and it is not a burden, it is an opportunity. When this woman began to assume responsibility for her life, she didn't do so because it was easy or because she was already equipped to succeed. She did so because she understood that responsibility is a form of power. It's a way of saying, I may not have chosen this struggle, but I choose what I will do with it. That shift in mindset is profound. It moves you from the passive role of a victim to the active role of a creator. Taking responsibility does not mean solving every problem overnight. For this woman, it meant starting with one small, concrete action, something she could control amidst the chaos. It might have been as simple as waking up an hour earlier, organizing her thoughts, or committing to learning a new skill. These small acts of order were her rebellion against the disorder that surrounded her. And with each act, she gained momentum. To recognize chaos and embrace responsibility is not to remove struggle from your life, it is to transform it into something meaningful. This woman's journey reminds us that chaos is inevitable, but our response to it defines who we become. By shouldering the weight of her circumstances, she began the journey from chaos to success, proving that even in the most overwhelming situations, there is always a path forward. Personal accountability is the cornerstone of transformation. It is the moment an individual stops looking outward for excuses or solutions and turns inward, asking the hard questions: what am I responsible for? What can I do differently? For the woman who turned her struggles into success, this mindset was not just a decision, it was a revolution. It required a complete reorientation of her thinking, a shift from seeing herself as a passive participant in life to becoming an active agent of change. When we talk about accountability, it's tempting to dismiss it as simplistic or self-evident, yet the truth is it's one of the hardest and most profound principles to embody. For this woman, her challenges were real, and they were overwhelming. Whether they stemmed from external circumstances like poverty, discrimination, or personal setbacks, the temptation to lay blame elsewhere must have been immense. And why not? After all, many of her difficulties likely stemmed from factors beyond her immediate control. But she understood a critical truth: focusing on blame doesn't solve problems. Accountability isn't about denying the unfairness of life, it's about acknowledging that no one else is going to solve your problems for you. Taking accountability begins with an honest assessment of your own actions, choices, and mindset. For her, this meant confronting the ways she had perhaps been complicit in her own stagnation, not out of malice, but out of habit, fear, or ignorance. She realized that while the world had thrown obstacles in her path, there were still decisions she could make to reclaim her agency. This realization wasn't an instant cure for her struggles, but it was a beginning. The power of accountability lies in its transformative effect on how we see ourselves. By taking responsibility, she began to see herself not as a victim of her circumstances, but as someone capable of influencing them. This shift in perception was essential. It wasn't about taking the blame for everything that had gone wrong, it was about taking ownership of the solutions. Instead of waiting for the perfect conditions or someone else to intervene, she asked herself what actions she could take immediately, however small, to begin improving her situation. Her journey of accountability wasn't linear. There were undoubtedly days of frustration, setbacks, and doubt. But each time she chose to take responsibility, whether by learning a new skill, reaching out for support, or simply refusing to give up, she gained a little more control over her life. This gradual reclaiming of agency had a compounding effect. Small wins gave her confidence, and confidence fueled larger efforts. What's remarkable about accountability is its empowering nature. By embracing it, she didn't just address her immediate problems, she cultivated a mindset that would serve her for a lifetime. Personal accountability became her foundation, a catalyst for turning her struggles into stepping stones towards success. It was her declaration that no matter how difficult life became, she would always have the power to act, and in that power lay her ultimate transformation. Pain is a universal human experience, but its impact depends largely on what we do with it. For the woman who transformed her struggles into success, pain was not the end of her story, it was the beginning. She recognized that while pain is often seen as a force of destruction, it can also be a source of incredible strength and clarity. Rather than allowing it to crush her, she used it as the raw material to build something meaningful. Pain has a way of demanding attention. It refuses to be ignored, calling into question our assumptions, priorities, and sense of control. For her, the struggles she endured were more than just obstacles, they were moments of reckoning. Each instance of hardship, whether it came from loss, failure, or rejection, forced her to confront truths she might have otherwise avoided. These truths were often harsh, but they were also transformative. She realized that pain, when faced directly, could reveal deep reservoirs of potential within her. It could become a guide pointing the way toward growth. Turning pain into purpose does not happen automatically. It requires a conscious choice to extract meaning from suffering. This woman made that choice. She didn't let her struggles define her as a victim. Instead, she asked herself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to help myself and others? These questions, though simple, were revolutionary. They shifted her focus away from what she had lost and toward what she could create. This process was not easy. Pain is relentless, and its weight can feel unbearable. There were moments when she felt like giving up, when the darkness seemed too vast to overcome. But in those moments, she discovered a critical insight: pain is not permanent. It ebbs and flows, and within its depths lies an opportunity to grow stronger, more resilient, and more focused. She began to see her struggles not as punishments, but as opportunities to uncover her own courage and capacity for transformation. Her journey wasn't just about overcoming pain, it was about using it to forge a new path. The lessons she learned through her struggles became the foundation for her purpose. Perhaps she started a project that addressed a problem she had faced herself, or perhaps she reached out to others who were experiencing similar challenges. Whatever form her purpose took, it was deeply rooted in her own experiences of hardship. Her pain gave her empathy, insight, and a sense of urgency. It became the driving force behind her success. What's remarkable about her story is that her transformation wasn't just personal, it had a ripple effect. By finding purpose in her pain, she inspired others to do the same. Her journey became a testament to the idea that even the most difficult experiences can be redeemed, that struggle can be turned into strength, and that pain, when harnessed, can lead to profound meaning. In turning her pain into purpose, she didn't just change her own life, she created a legacy of hope and possibility for others. True transformation is rarely the result of a single grand gesture. Instead, it comes from the discipline of incremental progress, small, deliberate actions taken consistently over time. For the woman who transformed her struggles into success, this principle was central to her journey. She understood that monumental change doesn't happen overnight, and that the most sustainable victories are built step by step, one small achievement at a time. At the beginning of her journey, the challenges she faced must have seemed overwhelming. It would have been easy to feel paralyzed by the enormity of the task ahead, to believe that the gap between her current situation and her desired future was simply too vast to bridge. But she didn't let the scale of her struggles deter her. Instead, she broke down her goals into smaller, manageable pieces. She didn't try to conquer everything at once, she focused on what she could do today. This approach required patience and discipline. Incremental progress often feels unspectacular in the moment. There are no immediate fireworks or dramatic results, only the quiet satisfaction of completing a single task. Yet, this is the power of small steps, they add up. Each small victory builds momentum, creating a sense of accomplishment and confidence that fuels the next step. This woman understood that even the tiniest improvement, when compounded over time, could lead to extraordinary outcomes. Her discipline was not just about persistence, it was also about focus. She recognized that not all actions are equal and that progress requires prioritizing what matters most. This meant setting clear goals and learning to say no to distractions. It also meant accepting that failure was part of the process. When a step didn't work out as planned, she didn't abandon the journey. Instead, she used those setbacks as learning opportunities, adjusting her approach and continuing forward. The beauty of incremental progress is that it creates resilience. By committing to consistent effort, she built habits that sustained her even during difficult times. On days when motivation was low, her discipline carried her through. She had trained herself to act not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. This discipline became a kind of strength, a reminder that she was capable of enduring and succeeding despite the challenges she faced. Over time, the cumulative effect of her efforts became undeniable. What once seemed impossible now seemed inevitable. The small steps she had taken, whether it was learning a new skill, reaching out for support, or simply refusing to give up, had compounded into a transformation far greater than she could have imagined at the start. Her journey serves as a powerful reminder that progress, no matter how slow, is still progress. It is the discipline to keep moving forward, even when the results aren't immediately visible, that ultimately leads to success. By embracing the principle of incremental progress, she not only achieved her goals, but also demonstrated that greatness is built on the foundation of consistent, disciplined effort. Success is rarely confined to the individual who achieves it. The ripple effect of one person's courage and determination can spread far beyond their immediate circumstances, inspiring and empowering others to embark on their own journeys of transformation. For the woman who turned her struggles into success, this ripple effect was both an outcome of her perseverance and a testament to the interconnectedness of human experience. Her triumph was not merely a personal victory, it became a source of hope and motivation for those around her, and even for people she had never met. Her story began with a single act of courage, the decision to confront her challenges and take responsibility for her life. This initial step was deeply personal, rooted in her own desire to overcome adversity and create a better future. Yet, as she progressed, the impact of her actions began to extend outward. Friends, family, and even strangers observed her persistence and resilience, and in doing so, they were reminded of their own potential. Her willingness to act in the face of fear and uncertainty showed others that it was possible to do the same. Courage is contagious. When someone steps forward despite overwhelming odds, they set an example that others cannot ignore. This woman's journey demonstrated that success is attainable not because the world suddenly becomes easier, but because we choose to rise to the challenge. Her story resonated with those who were struggling in their own ways, offering them a new perspective. They saw that struggle could be transformed into strength, and that failure was not the end, but a step toward growth. The ripple effect of her success wasn't just about inspiration, it was also practical. Through her actions, she created opportunities for others. Perhaps she started a business, wrote a book, or initiated a community project, using her experiences to address problems that she understood deeply. Whatever form it took, her success became a platform for elevating others. By solving the challenges she had faced, she paved the way for others to do the same. Her journey also had an emotional impact. People who heard her story felt a renewed sense of possibility. They began to believe in their own capacity for change, often because they saw her as a reflection of themselves. If she could overcome her struggles, perhaps they could too. This sense of shared humanity created a bond between her and those she inspired, turning her individual success into a collective source of strength. What's remarkable about the ripple effect of success is that it often occurs without the individual fully realizing its extent. This woman may never know all the lives she touched, but her courage and determination created waves that will continue to spread far into the future. Each person she inspired may go on to inspire others, creating a chain reaction of growth and transformation. Her story is a powerful reminder that our actions matter not just for ourselves, but for the world around us. When we overcome our struggles and pursue success with courage, we contribute to a legacy of hope, resilience, and possibility that can uplift countless others. In the end, the story of a woman who transformed her struggles into success is not just about overcoming hardship, it's about redefining what is possible. She showed us that chaos can be a starting point, that accountability is empowering, that pain can have purpose, and that progress, no matter how small, can lead to monumental change. Through her courage, she didn't just change her own life, she created a ripple effect that touched countless others, proving that success is not an isolated achievement, but a legacy that inspires. Her journey is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and a call to action for all of us. It reminds us that no matter how difficult life becomes, we have the power to rise, to act, and to transform our lives into something meaningful. Her story isn't just hers, it's ours too, if we choose to embrace the challenge. So let her life be a beacon, guiding us toward a future where we confront struggle with purpose, embrace growth with discipline, and inspire others through the example we set.